Morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you're watching this. It's the day after I killed my buck. I got him hanging in the tree over there, and we are going to process him. This is how I cut up a deer. It is not the best way, I'm sure, and it's surely not the only way, but it's my way. I hope this helps somebody that maybe you're curious of doing it yourself. It's very easy. Once you do a few of them, you'll get the hang of it, and ain't no big deal. Let's get into it. Warning, the following video contains disturbing content that may not be appropriate for some viewers. You have been warned. So some of the stuff that you're gonna need, you're gonna want a real good skinning knife, a fillet knife. This gets the meat off of the bone. And then you're gonna want a knife steel. This is what sharpens your knives as you're working them. Meat tubs are nice. You don't need them, but you can get these on Amazon, cheap enough. Let's get a little music going.
Get in my belly!
Now we go in the kitchen. I've got the inner loins and the back straps in the sink here. I'm gonna wash it up, clean it up, get all the hair off, and then we're gonna start cutting it. Okay, these cuts right here are the inner loins. They're kind of hard to work with, but they are the best meat on the deer, hands down. So I'm cutting them about an inch thick in little pieces like that. Little baby steaks, if you could imagine. All right, I want to talk about some of the equipment I use. Of course, we got the knives and we've got the steel. We already talked about that. We got the meat tubs, right? I got some beef fat here thawing out because we're gonna add that into our burger. We want like an 80-20 mix. This is a food saver. That's what I package all of my meat with. And then we're going to use a grinder. This is what we're gonna make our burger with. And then we're gonna use a stuffer, which is what we use to get the burger into the package, like this. It's also what we use to stuff our summer sausage when we make it. But I've got plenty of summer sausage from last year still, so I'm not gonna make any of that this year. Inner loins, 24. Okay, get your meat in the package. Done. There you go. Vacuum sealed inner loins ready for the freezer. On my back straps, I cut them in half just to make them easier to work with. But all I did was washed it up. Now there's this real heavy part of silver skin right here, this fat layer. I want to get that out of there. And we're gonna cut this one up into what I'm gonna call steak cuts. About a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch thick, and then we'll trim that layer off each time we go. So I've cut through it. Now I want to get that part off. So I'm gonna lay it down. Get all that white off there, and what you want is a piece of red meat, just like that. That is delicious. Put some salt and pepper, some steak seasoning, and A1 sauce. Cook that in a skillet. Again, cutting the piece off, trimming the fat. Delicioso.
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
You can make this into burger or jerky or whatever you want, but this is some really good meat, so I always try to do it into steak cuts. It's almost a waste to turn this into burger. But if it's your deer and your tag and you filled it, you can do whatever you want to do, and nobody can tell you otherwise. All right, little update here. These are steak cuts. These are jerky cuts. This is gonna be grind. Steak cuts are 1/4 inch thick, 3/8 of an inch thick pieces. Jerky cuts are really thin. They're 1/4 inch or less. And then the stuff that's got a lot of that silver skin and trash in it, that'll be grind. So now we're gonna move on to the hindquarters, the neck meat, and the front legs.
Elevator says, random stranger.
On the hindquarters, there's some really good meat that you can pretty much do whatever you want in. This can be cut into steak cuts, jerky cuts, burger cuts, whatever you want, but that's a big, big funky chunk of meat. This is the other half of it. So there's a lot of meat on the rear end of these deer. I'll probably do mostly jerky out of this because we eat a lot of jerky. So what I look for is I just want to separate it where it naturally wants to come apart. And you can just barely touch the knife to it and it will come apart. Now there's a solid chunk I can turn into whatever I want. Now I want you guys to notice this. Look how funky that looks, right? But once you trim it down, you get perfect red meat with nothing on it. So don't let this discourage you. You just gotta trim it off. Just trim it. So we've got the steaks packaged up and in the freezer. We've got the inner loins packaged up in the freezer. So what we have now is 2 tubs. This tub is jerky cuts. I'll divide it in half and package it in 2 different packages to make 2 batches. This tub will be grind. We're gonna mix in 20% beef fat to 80% venison. You can use beef or you can use pork. Either one works great. You can buy this stuff on a roll, or you can buy them like pre-made to a certain size. This is gonna be burger. You can go get this beef fat at any butcher shop, or you can buy literally a pork loin, grind it up, throw that in with your venison. It'll work just fine. I've done that too. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna run it through the grinder, this big head on it.
Look at the size of that boy's head.
And then we'll run it a second time with the smaller one. and then that'll be ready to package. All right, so we went through the first grind, and this is what we ended up with. I'm switching it out to the smaller thing. We have everything else done. All that's left is to pack. Charlie, chill. All that's left is to package the burger. Take the burger, we're gonna put it in the stuffer, take one of these wild game bags, put on here, fill it up with about a pound of meat, and then we're gonna take electrical tape and seal them up and put them in the freezer.
Exactly. Counter.
Okay. There you go. Pound of deer meat.
Oh. Just double bag it.
That's what she said.
Bag broke. That's how I process a deer. I hope this helps you guys learn how to do it yourselves, or maybe teaches you something you didn't know, or if you know something better than what I'm doing, let me know. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. I wanted to thank some of our sponsors who help us get up and down the road. Dude Wipes, Twisted Iron Hunting, Tree Sticks, Dawson Hot Wheels, Bone Reaper Outdoors, and Rack and Stick. Check them out. Gall dang.